on my head. Gentlemen, start your engines because we're sitting down today talking. You guys.
Technically, you sit when you start your engines.
That's true, unless you stand.
How would you do that?
Beep beep beep.
I mean,
come on. You guys want to see some just kind of cool? Like, what if I just click this button and we disappear? Our name. I know that name. Well, that was supposed to play right after, but I forgot to have it on. But now we finally got it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, happy Tuesday evening. We have, what is this called? A live stream here in Casa de la Hondo for the Fright Club studio. How are you guys doing this Tuesday evening? Are you guys hanging in there from last week? Kind of chaotic last week, huh?
A little bit.
Right? Tonight's live stream, a very chilled live stream. Very chilled.
But we do have a lot to talk about.
But we do. Yes, we do. We have a lot to talk about. We have 6 official from Halloween Horror Nights. Not your friend, not your cousin, not your insider. Like Halloween Horror Nights themselves came out and officially stated that we have 6 original haunted houses that were completely announced this past week. Technically, the past 2 weeks. And holy smokes, we're going to be diving into all that. We're going to be talking about the 6 houses that is coming to the event officially. It's kind of weird to say that. Like, I know last live stream we talked about 3 of them. We had Slaughter Sinema 2 the Friday before that stream. Mm-hmm. Then we ended up getting the next one. And then we got the next one.
Goblin's Feast.
Goblin's Feast and then Sweets. So we had 3 for that live stream. And then sure enough, the next day, guess what we got? Boom, we got another one. We got Deadly Museum. I keep getting the names wrong. Museum Deadly Exhibits, as well as Monstrous the following day, and then the final day, that Friday, 1 week after we got Slaughter Sinema 2, we ended up getting the final original house being this Triplets of Terror. So we're going to be talking about all that. We'll be talking about the 3 that we talked about last week a bit, just briefly. We'll get into that, and then we'll really focus on the final 3 that we got right after last week's live stream. Just kind of hang out, see what you guys, how you guys are feeling about this whole announcement week, how the structure was. Did you guys like it? What would you guys do differently? What do you guys think of these houses, the graphics, all that kind of stuff? We're going to be diving into all of that. And then we're just going to be chilling tonight. There's really no official plans or schedule. This is going to be one of those relaxed, laid back live streams. I don't know. How long are we going to go tonight? An hour maybe or so at least.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. We'll see. We'll go with the flow.
However long it takes.
Yeah, however long it takes. And to kind of get this live stream kicked off, why don't we just go ahead and right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen, this segment. Let's do a quick old rapid fire Q&A to kick off tonight's live stream. So we'll do rapid fire Q&A, ladies and gentlemen, 5 minutes on the clock. Ask any question that you guys want. Put it into the chat. We'll get into it. If we got the time, we'll try to answer as many as we can within the time. So go ahead, ask those questions. We're going to get into that, and then that will transition into that segment of talking about originals, the 6 official originals, which it seems like we're getting a 4-6 split right now. That's what it's shaping up to be.
Which last live stream, didn't we say that that's what we would kind of prefer?
Kind of, yeah. I mean,
but
it
with
depends.
an IP scare zone.
Yes, with IP scare zone, exactly. Which could we potentially get one this year? So, ladies and gentlemen, the 5 minutes is on the screen. Questions are being asked. Stephanie's going to pick one, and we're going to start the rapid fire Q&A.
Important question. How are you doing today?
Ooh, good. We're doing good. We're doing really good.
We're good.
We're having a good time. How are you doing? How you doing? all right, rapid fire.
Oh, sorry.
Uh-oh.
They keep skipping. Who's hosting the event this year? An icon or original?
Hosting, I think Halloween Horror Nights the one hosting it this year.
I don't think there's going to be an icon.
Yeah.
That's just my...
I think they're building up for a bigger icon. So, and we're getting to that anniversary year. So I think this is the build up. We had that video 2-3 weeks ago or so that showed, the underground and, the door opening up and that weird nasty nest kind of releasing. And then we saw the nasty nest. And we saw the supposedly this portal and the sky kind of changing and all that stuff. I think this is building up to something we haven't seen yet that they've been building up for the past few years, and we just really haven't been aware of it. And now they're kind of showing that we're kind of picking up on it. So I think the next few years is going to lead to that.
Mm-hmm. Which one, Disney or Universal?
Universal.
Yeah, right now at least. What? Well. I was going to read what's your hype list for the 6 houses so far, but I think we'll get into that later. So
yeah, we're going to save that one.
What's the most inappropriate item you would be mortified to see the BFO logo on?
The most mortifying item?
Inappropriate item.
Inappropriate?
You would be mortified to see the BFO logo on.
Chris does things. I'm just going to say that. I don't want to get into anything inappropriate.
Would you want to see a Rob Zombie Scare Zone return? I'd like to see a different music artist. I think it'd be cool. I liked that zone, and I like the idea of a music artist for a scare zone, because I think like the music does well in the zone and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I'd like to see someone different.
You know what? I'm just gonna tag along with that. I agree. I never actually got to really go through the Rob Zombie Scare Zone in 2019. So I've seen it, right? I did go through it once or twice, but never really like took the time to look into it. I mean, I'm not against it because Rob Zombie and all that, they have energy. So I'm all for anything that carries energy. Like Steph said, it would be nice to kind of see another artist take a swing at it.
Yeah. Any insights to Scare Zone themes? No.
Yeah, I don't know. I know the rumor is The Weeknd, potentially. I'd love to see that. I think that'd be really cool, and the music would be nice, as long as the energy's there. But as far as scare zones go, we really have, with like the rumors and speculations, we really don't know anything with scare zones until it's like August.
Yeah, I feel like those are always like dead last.
Yeah, like it's always hard to hear rumors.
But it's
for
the
scare
first
zones.
thing that we see because we can actually see it.
That's true.
Um,
We have a minute and a half left.
what's the best area to start in at HHN? Ooh.
Are we doing stay and scream? Or are we
I
at the
think-
front of the park?
Yeah, it depends so much on like the year, like where the houses are,
Yeah.
and if you're doing stay and scream, like all that.
The way I would answer this, like we've always done stay and scream, and for HHN 30, our stay and scream location was the Central Park Springfield area. That was like our go-to, because we would hit up Hill House. We would then go over to Scary Ohio. We did Wicked Growth, Puppet Theater. We would always knock those out in the beginning. And then HHN 31 came along, and we found ourselves in the Richter's location a lot. We hung out in San Francisco, Richter's area. That's where we usually hung out because of the shade being inside Richter's and stuff. They had that open. That was nice. And then for 32 last year, we found ourselves in New York a lot, staying inside Louis because they didn't do Scare Actor Dining. So we sat in there to just get AC and some shade until
they open it up.
Yeah. And then we would always go like do Dueling Dragons and then hit up Stranger Things with an express pass. And yeah, that was good.
But it depends on like what you're trying to do and if you have stay and scream and all that. We always like after like the first like 2 weekends or so, we'll like on our live streams or in a video, we'll kind of go over like, this is what we're feeling like is the best route to do for this event specifically.
We'll have that upcoming. One more question.
What's your ideal pre-HHN meal at the park / city walk / on the way to the event?
That's a good question. We live here. We're right down the road. And what I mean by right down the road, it could take us 25 minutes or it could take us an hour and a half, depending on traffic. We usually eat before we go, usually. But if you're at the resorts, if you're at City Walk, a good like go-to, like...
Honestly, City Walk has some good food. Like
they do.
Like we like Moe's. Bread Box is pretty good too.
Red Oven. Love Red Oven pizza.
Good.
Cold Stone tradition. Always do Cold Stone. However,
it's not really a pre-HHN meal. That's like a post-HHN meal.
Here's the thing too. One thing that sometimes what we do is if you're staying at like Stay and Scream, if you're in one of the Stay and Scream locations, they usually sometimes have the food booths or food locations attached to that area. Excuse me. Heartburn, which means I ate. But we have some of the food places that are usually open attached to that Stay and Scream area. So that is actually where we'll just grab a quick bite and then go about our night for a few hours, maybe like 2 hours or so, and then grab another bite throughout the night. Yeah. Grab a bite through the night.
Nasty Nest and now this.
Nasty Nest. We're adding as much as we can. Well, there it goes. We ran out of the time. I think that was not the greatest rapid fire Q&A
no,
we've
it
done.
Wasn't.
We were
Sorry.
very slow.
We did it right at the beginning, and I feel like we're like
we'll be picking up steam. Yeah. We'll be picking up some energy and some steam for sure. But if we
Antajitos is a good one.
Antajitos is great.
Antajitos.
Here's the problem though. It's like don't eat too much. Don't eat too much.
That's your problem.
Okay, maybe that's my problem. But anyways, so rapid fire Q&A. If we didn't get to your questions, we will get to them later because we will do one at the very end. We might do one in the middle as well. Tonight might be one of those live streams where, like I said, it's very chill, laid back. We might let you guys kind of run the live stream as far as like questions go, where we just do a lot of Q&As and some rapid fire Q&As throughout the live stream, just because it's one of those things where, we got this huge announcement last week from Horror Nights. Did you hear that?
I think that was ice.
Oh, he even heard it. Oh, okay, fell from... Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. There's a ghost in our house. So, we had this huge week, right, for the HHN community. We had just so much that was just being poured on us by HHN. And there was just a lot to take in. And it was really fun. It was exciting. There's a lot of people that were excited. And it was so cool to see the community kind of brought to life. Except if you're somebody out on the West Coast, I'm sorry. That's all I'm going to say. I'm sorry. Your time's coming soon, though. I promise you.
Eventually.
I hope so.
Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah, I could imagine being somebody on the West Coast and just being like, all around me.
Yeah, that was the first thing that popped in my mind too.
So West Coast folks, your time is coming very soon. You'll finally get some things. I promise you guys will. And you got a good year coming up. But we got a lot this last week, and it was one of those moments where we were going to make a video. we talked with you guys. If you guys follow us on Discord and our Discord community, you guys know we were going to be making a video this past weekend talking about all the announcements, especially the recent ones that we didn't do videos on. We were going to do a video on it, and then we kind of sat back and said, you know what? We're not going to do a video. Instead, we'll wait for the live stream, and we'll just kind of talk with you guys, because that last week with all the announcements kind of gave us more questions than anything. More of a, kind of imagine it like curious, right? The curiosity side of questions, where it's like, you know, we have all these questions. We want to know what you guys think. You know, we want to talk about it, because Steph and I, we've had a lot of time to really kind of talk about and digest the houses that were announced, the way that they were announced. Could it be better? Could it have been worse? Where the houses are going to be? What code names could be this? There's just so many questions that came from this past week that we're like, you know what? Let's save it for a live stream. And what we'll do is, instead of like doing this whole shebang of a live stream, we'll just kind of sit back, talk with you guys, let you guys ask questions. We'll ask you guys questions and stuff, just to kind of see where the community is, because we got last week a plethora of, that's a big word. Put that in. I hope I'm using it right. First of all, a plethora. I know it's a plethora, a plethora, but I say plethora.
I've heard people say it both ways.
It's okay. I'm always wrong. It's fine. Stuff's always right. So more than likely, I'm wrong on that. A plethora. I think plethora is the correct way.
Sounds right to me.
You're right. I think you're right. I'm wrong. I'll admit it here live on YouTube TV.
The only place he'll ever admit it.
I'm still in my head saying I'm correct.
Exactly.
But we had a plethora of questions that were sent to us in regards to the houses that were announced, what they were going to be, and all kinds of this. So first question that I want to ask you guys, right? Like I said, this is a live stream where we're going to turn it around to you guys. We're going to let you guys answer these questions, because I kind of want to see where the community is with this. I want to see how everybody's doing, how everyone's, you know, feeling about it. Are they excited? Are they happy and all that? We want to see it. So first of all, are you guys, one, excited for the lineup that we currently have as far as the original houses go? And I don't want to hear a thing about IPs yet. We're not talking IPs yet, just the originals. We'll get to the IPs later, because I know there was a lot of people saying the IPs don't look good this year. Hey, we haven't had any IPs announced. Hang tight. However, originals, what do you guys think of this lineup? Are you guys excited for the lineup? Do you have more worries about it? Are you questioning, like, I don't know? Because that Triplets of Terror one, I was like, okay. Okay.
I will say, we've talked about it, but
a lot.
I will say that I am extremely excited for all of these. Yeah. I don't think there's a single one that I'm like, maybe.
You question one of them.
I think at the bottom, I have of my list is Sweets and Goblin.
I was afraid you were going to say Goblin, but we talked about it. Go ahead.
I don't know. It's just like not my vibe, but all the other ones, what?
It's not my vibe.
It's not my vibe. But all of the other ones, I'm so excited for. I think obviously Slaughter Sinema, very excited for that one. I think this absolutely. Museum one, if they do it right, is going to be really scary. Same with the Triplets one. I know we saw a lot of, you know,
not so pleased comments about the graphic.
But I think as a house, it's giving me very much like House of a Thousand Corpses, Texas Chainsaw sort of vibes. Yeah. Scary Kids, which like all of that, you know, like is pretty creepy and gory.
Scary Kids.
So I'm very excited for that one as well. And then of course Monstrous. That was our favorite house in Hollywood last year. So I'm excited to see what Orlando does with it.
Yeah. Here, let me ask you this question. What is your list right now? Mm-hmm. We will be doing a video in August during our countdown series, Countdown to HHN, where we cover, you know, the whole month of August, leads it up. We also will do this partly in July as well, just because Horror Nights now starts in August. What is your anticipation list, I guess, out of the originals? Where would you kind of place them?
First of all, I want to know what I said that offended Isaac. Was it about goblins?
Scary Kids.
Or probably
Scary. I think Scary Kids is what you said.
Oh, I don't know.
I think Isaac's a scary kid.
Oh. I think that my list, I'm a very visual person, so I'm like trying to like visualize my list. I think number 1 has to be Slaughter Cinema. It has to be. Number 2.
Why does it have to be Steph?
It just does.
Okay.
Oh, sweets. Yeah, I figured. We have some like people that pull hard for major sweets.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I want to talk about the sweets thing just for a split second.
Okay.
Right. We had some people comment saying that like I wasn't giving enough excitement towards sweets, and I was like, y'all, we loved spending time in the scare zone.
Yeah.
But that's all it was. It's scare zone. For it to be a house is a very different animal.
I just fear that it's not going to be scary enough.
I could see that. But we'll see. I don't know. Because that scare zone is not going to be the house. Right. And that's the vision that I'm getting, is that what we saw in the scare zone is not at all what we're getting in the house. We're getting a house, first of all, but it's also like it predates what that scare zone was and kind of gets in the story. So it could be a completely different vibe. But that entire atmosphere in Sweets was so fun. It was cool. It really like captured what 31 was kind of about in a way.
It was kind of cute.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, yes, it was. But now it's like maybe they take this as an opportunity. It's like, all right, let's show the twisted side of it in the beginning and how it got to be where it is. So it's like I'm excited for it, but it's like it's one of those where I am not really going to say how I feel about it until I actually see it. This is one of those houses because this is a character that has been at the event before, like we said, for 31. The design of the character is cool. The scare actors who portrayed Major Sweets did a fantastic job. We loved being in that scare zone. We actually, there are so many nights where we just sat around the tribute store and just like watched them go about their day, you know?
Yeah.
So I just want to see how that translates to a house. So
I also just want to say that I agree with Robbie's comment. I need more info on the houses, not just the single sentences. We'll
stand here quiet
just
now.
in silence.
I'll let you say your thing, but one thing I will say is that we will get into that. Yeah, we'll get into
I
that.
do agree with that. Like, if you look back, Descendants of Destruction was like pretty low on our like hype list. Same with Darkest Steel.
And Darkest Steel.
And then they ended up at like the top of our list for the year. So I definitely think that, especially with the originals, it is so hard to like judge them just based off of
the graphic
and a sentence. Yeah. But I will say that if I am going to judge them, it will be
which your anticipation.
Yeah.
So you had number 1 was Slaughter Cinema.
Slaughter Cinema.
Numero dos.
Probably Monstrous.
Get it? I added a little bit.
Probably Monstrous, but I do worry that
it's not
will let me down because it won't be the same as Hollywood.
We'll get into all that.
Yeah. And then probably Triplets.
Oh. That graphic didn't push it down?
Hear me out.
Okay.
I think because it has that kind of like slasher grindhouse,
it's a little
like vibe to it. It feels like
it doesn't
dirty.
feel clean. Yeah, it's dirty.
And those houses always get me. So I think I'll like that one. And then
it's respectable.
And then Museum, and then Sweets, and then probably Goblin.
Wow, you put Goblin at the bottom? Dang.
Oh, sorry.
You know, I'm actually really excited for Goblin's Feast. Like, depending how they do it. If they go something very dark and scary, I'm gonna love it. If they do something very campy with it, I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love it regardless, because just that vibe. Like I said, guys, I'm in the dark fantasy vibe right now. I've been going on, like, it's all over my TikTok and all. You know, I love dark fantasy, so it's like it's cool. I love the vibe and stuff. I wonder if that's kind of the route that they're gonna go with. It would be really neat to see, but I want it to be dark. So I picture with like Goblin's Feast, I picture it like the like Dueling Dragons. It's like the Dueling Dragons house this year, and it's kind of like that one like troll that we got at the beginning and towards the royal castle scene and stuff. It's like if we get that vibe, that dark, the like all that, like, I could go with that.
See, I feel like a very common theme for myself.
Brooke, did you like that, by the way?
Yeah.
Is that like
I feel like a very common theme for myself is that which you would think that this would be opposite, but I don't get scared from like the big costumes because I feel like they move too slowly, if that makes sense. Like Yeti, even like Dead Man's Pier were like all big costumes. Killer clowns, like, you know what I mean? Like those costumes never really.
I agree with you, which is why I think it's so important for those houses to have variations.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, you know, Dead Man's Pier, I mean, they had bigger people in there, I guess, but it's because it was a very, like, sad type of vibe that they weren't aggressive. Like, they weren't, like, and all that stuff. But I definitely can attest to, like, the Yetis. Yetis are so cool. They're huge and all, but the nice thing, too, is that you had the victims to give that variation. I love to see the variations and the costumes and the sizes and stuff. Yeah. But I know Stephanie's usually against, like, just bigger ones because they have no mobility.
And I think that it's partly because of exactly what Theme Park Studios said. Houses with human-like characters are more scary because they feel more real. And that's how I've always been growing up. Like, paranormal movies never really scared me, but, like, The Strangers was, like, the scariest thing to me when I was growing up because it was like that could really happen.
Yeah. So Stephanie is very much like home invasion and stuff, like realistic. Because I put myself into that. Yeah. And I saw a comment. I lost it, so I forget who said it. I'm sorry. But somebody said the Triplets of Terror would be cool if it had a cannibal aspect to it. And I really like that. I don't know if it'll happen, but it would be kind of cool. Can you imagine just somebody in general just being like, man, it'd be cool if there's a cannibal here. Yeah, it's this one right here. Everybody, it's this one right here. Yeah, I can, I guess. I mean, that's kind of how, Texas was, right? Mm-hmm. TCM was kind of like that. I think so. Here, let me get into my list.
Yeah, go for it.
Slaughter Sinema, number one. It's got to be. Just like Steph, it's got to be. It's Steph's favorite one. She's talked to me so much about it. Been with her for years and 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 years. And Slaughter Sinema has still been number one since the years and years and years. So I got to put it number one. I never got to experience it, so I'm really looking forward to this. Number two, by just a 3-foot gimme, is Monstrous. Because Monstrous was...
What did you just say?
A 3-foot gimme.
What is that?
It's just a golf term.
Oh.
It's okay.
I just saw you go like this and...
Yeah, I was just golfing.
What are you talking about?
3-foot gimme. I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't. I've never said that before. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway.
New term.
Go ahead.
So Monstrous, I put Monstrous number 2. Mm-hmm. Monstrous in Hollywood last year was one of those aha moments for me when we went to Hollywood. Last year was the first time ever going to Hollywood. If you guys haven't seen that, we actually have a video. It's up on the channel. Go check it out. Last year, we went to Hollywood for the first time ever, checking out their Halloween Horror Nights. Fantastic time. Loved it. The weather was the greatest thing of all. But the energy that the scare actors have in Hollywood is second to none.
That's why I'm nervous.
It's incredible. And this is what I was getting to, where it's like, I hope we have that same energy with ours here in Orlando, because although the house was really good, the sets, the sound design, everything was great about Monstrous. Oh my gosh. I wish you guys could have been there with us with that.
The head almost ate Brian's camera.
El Sabon. The El Sabon scene where the giant head came through. I may have said a curse word while filming, and I apologize. And it might be on the videos still because I couldn't cut it because I wanted people to see that. However, that scene with the head coming through and that whole hallway leading up to it, hallway leading up to where that head was one of those moments where I think the first time ever that I came out of a house from Halloween Horror Nights in any moment where I was like, oh my gosh. I felt like we did Velocicoaster 3 times in a row. Jesus, Brian. I'm starting.
Take a breath.
Yeah, I'm starting. So I'm really hoping we get that same vibe. So Monstrous, number 2, easily. Then number 3, I'm actually gonna go with the museum. The museum, I feel like, has so much potential that it could touch based on lore. It could potentially just be a random house. But I love museum-esque types of stories because there's so much that you can play off of. There's an unlimited amount of variations.
Oh, we missed a...
We'll go back to it. There's an unlimited amount of variations that you can do with a museum type of storyline, just because a museum isn't usually just about one thing. There's a collection of things. That's what a museum is. You know, it's a collection of things, in case anybody didn't know that. So I'm excited for it because I feel like it could play off of so much. And we've had museum types of houses before in Horror Nights history. So it'd be cool to see that because I don't think we personally have really, I don't think we've ever experienced something like that. So that'll be neat. Then I would say the fourth one would be Goblin's Feast. I like Goblin's Feast. I think it has potential for it. The graphic is where it drops it for me because I feel like this, depending on which way they can go, Stephanie made that comment last week about Goblins.
Do you need to take a minute?
Hold up, ladies and gentlemen. Hold up. 1 second. H2O. Make sure you drink plenty of it. So Goblin's Feast. Stephanie made a comment last week in last week's live stream where it's like, it kind of looks Disney-fied, right? And I agree. I feel like it's too pop. If it's to be campy, sure, it works. But I want this house to be dark. That's what I'm wanting. So we just have to wait to see. That's the great thing about originals. We don't know until we actually go and experience it. So Goblin's Feast. Number 5, Sweets. Period. Number 6, Triplets of Terror.
Really?
And here's the thing, and this is why, and you gotta hear me out on this, right? People are so quick to assume and judge. I will gladly say that I'm one of those people too, and I'm trying to be better on taking my time and analyzing things a little bit more. And I think the community needs to as well, because when I say Triplets of Terror is my number 6, it doesn't mean it's the bottom. Like it's I don't like.
Technically, it does.
I'm talking. Oh, hear me out. Thank you, Mrs. Technicality. It's one of those things where if you scale these houses on a scale of 0 to 10 in excitement, Triplets of Terror comes in at like a 7 for me, like a 7 out of 10 in excitement. I'm excited for this house. I have a feeling this one's going to be probably the most gruesome house. This is the one that's probably going to be one of those where people go in expecting one thing and they come out and they're like, that was like more than what I was expecting. It was a lot. So I'm really excited for this.
We haven't really had that at HHN in a minute.
It's true. And I feel like this could potentially dive into that and that could dip into that. So I'm looking forward to this, but it's the 6th one, which goes to show you how much more excited I am for the other ones, to be honest, just for potential. So Triplets of Terror is at the bottom for me just because I really hope that it dives into that really like, that was just dark. The whole house was just wrong. That's wrong. I'm like, that's what I want. So if they don't deliver it on that, I'm going to be like.
So you're setting your expectations
my expectations for
low.
that's going to be set low, but I'm excited for it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So that's kind of my listing for those currently. But we did miss some super chats, as I've been told.
2.
Let's bring them up. First up, we have Mia Stonewolf with a $5.
Thank you.
$5. She said, Goblins is number 1 hype right now for me. It speaks to my nerdy fantasy fan at heart. See, it's like, I feel like it's like fantasy vibes, like dark fantasy. I want that, right? The others are meh hype, but the creative team is outstanding, so I'm torn. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the beautiful thing about originals. And even more so, the beautiful thing, the fact that we got originals first compared to IPs. We'll get into that. We'll get into the crazy announcement sequence in a second. But that's the cool thing about originals is that we have this ability to be excited or not excited. And whether we are super excited or not, these are the houses that could really just make or break our, I guess, excitement list, or I guess ranking list is what you would call.
I honestly feel like the last 2 years, I have been very meh about all of the originals. Almost all of the originals.
Are you talking about like being announced?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they're announced and I'm like,
I agree.
All right. Last 2 years, pretty much every single one. I think maybe Dueling Dragons was like the one that I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be awesome. But that's because you have something to kind of base it off of. But they have consistently been some of my favorite houses. So the fact that I'm like super excited for all the originals this year, could be a really good thing, meaning that all the originals are going to be even that much better, or I could get my hopes let down.
Usually our anticipation list is never the way our ranking list ends up being.
No. I think
ever.
Darkest Deal was our last and least anticipated last year.
Was it the last
And it ended
one?
up being our favorite house.
Was it the last one?
I'm
can
pretty
somebody,
sure it was.
Can someone in the chat verify if Darkest Deal was at the bottom?
You don't have to if you don't.
That the one person knows who I'm talking to, and that they will, and I will greatly appreciate it.
I haven't seen Javier in the chat, so I don't think so.
You're calling Javier out. Well, Javier will know. Javier, if you're there, we need you. But yeah, so I'm excited for the originals, very excited for Goblins, and I'm hoping it really fulfills the fantasy world, if you will, for fans of that kind of genre. So, Mia, thanks for the 5. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Looking forward to Goblins Feast. And then we got Isaac Forshy, who's also a scary child or scary kid. That's what you said. Scary kid.
I didn't say that. You said that.
No, that's what you said. That's what I heard. Isaac Forshy with the 4.99 said, just wanted to make sure Stephanie saw my comment saying I was kidding. Everyone's opinion is valid, even if it's a terrible opinion. JK, love y'all. It's okay.
I did see your comment.
If it's a terrible comment, I'll say it.
No.
I got a couple people in mind that I can
I
call.
totally understand. I love the vibe of Sweets. That's why I made the poster design that I did that we put on Instagram.
Poster design? What are you talking about? You made a poster design for
Or
Sweets?
whatever you want to call that.
No, I'm
graphic design.
I was just...
I love the vibe of it. I love the like aesthetics of it. I feel like it's not going to be a very scary house. And
by the way, real quick, not to cut you off, but I'm going to cut you off. Did you guys see the poster design, by the way? I don't know if everyone's seen the poster design.
I don't know, it's on Instagram.
Yeah, if you guys want to see the new design that Stephanie has for a poster, it's up on our Instagram account, BrianFromOrlando at Instagram. Stephanie did a new poster design, and it's all centered around Major Sweets. So check it out.
Oh, number 10 was Exorcist. Thank you, Chris. Yeah. That tracks.
Yeah.
But
Blumhouse.
But I think... Oh, yeah. That would be at the bottom, too. But I think Darkest Steel was our least anticipated original.
Yeah. All right. So back to what you were saying before I cut you off.
Oh, I don't remember. This happens multiple times in a day.
Can somebody quote what Stephanie was saying right up to the moment when she wasn't saying it anymore? That's why we got the chat. Come on, chat.
I don't remember what I was saying.
Somebody come through for us. You were talking about the poster, Major Sweets design, Major Sweets house.
Oh, I was pretty much done with what I was saying. I was just saying that I don't think it's going to be a very scary house. And my favorite houses are the ones that I can go through multiple times and get like a jump scare. At least one jump scare.
Yeah.
Like most times that we go through. Those are my favorite houses.
Yeah.
Like Dueling Dragons was cool.
Yeah.
Not Depths of Fear, but Dead Man's Pier was cool. I thought they were gorgeous, but I didn't want to keep going through them night after night because I wasn't getting scares.
Yeah, I agree. That's why Darkest Deal was like our number one. Because every time we went to Darkest Deal, and I think the people who know us and who has been following us for some time, especially last year, and has been keeping up to date with everything, we've been saying that one room, the final like hallway sequence in Darkest Deal, there's one scare actor on the left that just always gave it their all, and it was fantastic. We loved it, and that's the kind of stuff that we look into a house. A house could be beautiful, could be great, could be grand in scale, it could be not so great, grand in whatever, right? Depending on how the scare actors and the energy they give off, that is where we usually rank our houses, our excitement. That's usually where we will spend most of our time going through the house, is depending on how the energy is. You got high, intense, energetic cast that fill a house, we will more than likely go to the house. Chucky, here's a great example of Chucky, right? And no offense to any of the scare actors who've performed in any of these houses, but like Chucky was one of those that was not on a grand scale for us. But there were some times, I think the last time we went through Chucky, the scare actors were like, they were actually very aggressive. They were on it where we're like, well, that was different. And that's it. It's all based on the scare actors. It's always based on it.
But it also like someone said the devil mask in Darkest Deal was really creepy. Like,
oh yeah.
Like elements of the house can be more like creepy and dark. And like those are the things that I like. And I don't feel like Sweets is going to be that. I don't think it's going to be a bad house. And I don't dislike like Major Sweets in general. I just don't think it's going to be my favorite house.
I'm really hoping that they do a 180 on us with Major Sweets.
Make it like really dark and creepy.
Yeah, because like this is supposed to be like a prequel in a way to the Scare Zone, right? As far as timing goes, if I'm wrong, chat, please let me know if I'm wrong on this. But I from what I've heard, I think it's like a prequel to what the Scare Zone was. You get to see kind of the backstory of it, and it seems like, you know, if the kids eat the chocolate, they turn crazy, right? And they kind of are mind controlled by Major Sweets in a way to kill like the parents that was at the parade. So it's like, well, how did you make the candy do that? You know, are we going to be able to see, you know, in an experimentative way and process on how he was trying to do that? Why is his face the way his face is? You know, how he's got this just nose. It's kind of like weird and all. So it's like, is there a whole story based on that that's actually really dark? And you know, there's
just how his nose is.
Okay, all right, maybe he's got, you know, some issues, but it's one of those where I'm like, are we going to see some like creature-esque things? Are we going to see some twisted human forms and stuff, and like that kind of vibe? I'd love to see like this really like dark candy factory that's just
unknown.
Like, yeah, unknown everywhere. I mean, every scare is just slapped
The
unknown,
unknown.
boom, 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 like the whole way through. And that's what I'm really hoping for out of this house. But
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? We'll
see.
We'll see. So Isaac Forshi, Scary Kid, thanks for the $4.99, my man. You're now officially a Scary Kid. Also to bring up Shannabelle, member, by the way, for 12 months. That's a full year for those that don't know. Said, woohoo, hit the year mark. I'm actually really excited for the originals. It's been so hard to rank them. That's the great thing about originals.
It is hard to rank them.
Yeah, you don't know what to expect. So that's the cool thing. And then follow up, Shanna, we have Jonathan Vila, Fright Club veteran for 19 months.
Dang.
19. Saying, not sure if you've played this game before, but with HHN seeming to go for more fantasy between last year and this one, how would you feel about a Skyrim house? Maybe going through a Dragar Crypt. Here's the thing. I'm all for it. I love, like I said earlier, I love dark fantasy. I think when you get into the fantasy genre, it's one of those things where there's so many different versions and variations and stories that you can tell with that. Here's a cool example. You know, Harry Potter. Let's say Universal owns Harry Potter. There's so many different stories you can tell within the Harry Potter universe, you know? This is kind of that same aspect. You know, Harry Potter's kind of fantasy, right? You can tell so many different things. We can just have a whole dark forest or Forbidden Forest, you know, house. You can talk about that. You can have something that's just based on the spiders. You can have something based on the you know, the dark arts and things like that. There's all these things, and that's kind of how like these fantasy houses play into like Skyrim, the game. So I'd be down for it, but they have to go into the horror section, really focus on the horror part, and make it to the point where it's like, I personally, before I go in this house, even if I'm a huge fan of Skyrim, right? We're going to use the Skyrim reference. Even if I'm a huge fan of Skyrim and I know everything about Skyrim, I played it, yada, yada, I also need to be standing there going, I'm a little nervous about going in this house because everything they described, what we've seen so far, seems pretty terrifying, regardless if I know it. It could be Teletubbies coming to Halloween Horror Nights, and I could be the biggest Teletubby fan, and I could love all this, blah, 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 know it all. But before I walk in the house, I need to have that little bit of kind of anxiety feeling where I'm like, I should be worried because whatever.
I would be worried going into a Teletubby's house. Are you kidding me?
That'd be great. Can we get a petition for that? But it's one of those where it's like they need to set that up in a way. And this is going to kind of flow into what we're about to bring up with this past announcement week. It needs to set the tone. And for how this announcement... And here's the thing. Did we get an announcement dump? Yes or no? Technically, no. We didn't get it all in one day, which I'm very thankful for. I'm very thankful we didn't just get all the originals in one day. I think they deserve...
Also, I'm going to interrupt you really quick.
That's okay. I forgive you.
Because you interrupted me earlier.
So are we going to be even now?
I
what
just
about
wanted
this morning, though?
Interrupt to say welcome to the Fright Club to Katie K.
Katie K? Who are you?
Brian is much better at this like MC type of stuff, but he never looks at the chat. So
well, here's
I have to jump in and do it, but then I'm all awkward. So
if you want to,
Welcome.
if you guys want to know, we're live, right? If you want to know the behind the scenes stuff, I can actually see it off of Stephanie's, but I can't see exactly what it said. So I usually go, let me finish what I'm saying, and then maybe it'll transition. Because if not, just like Stephanie's really bad at this, and I am too. If we change what we're saying, we'll forget about it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we'll I'm like,
Completely
wait,
forget it.
what were we saying? So like I usually try to finish that, and then 2 hours later when I finish, then I can go back to whatever it was. Yeah, Katie K, welcome to Fright Club. Great to have you on board. Get ready for this game, by the way.
If you aren't already in the Discord, we have a separate chat just for Fright Club members.
You're gonna tell everybody we have a secret club
I mean,
talking about our normal club
I mean, yeah, if you want to be part of it, all you have to do is join the Fright Club.
and serve me and savor all your riches. But yeah, going back real quick to this announcement dump, right? I'm so thankful that we didn't get them the original houses. We didn't get them in one single day. They deserve their own separate days. I really believe in that. However, my question is, could it have been better? I think the answer is absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely could have been better. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. My goal for this YouTube channel, this is my goal, my personal goal, is to get the people who watch our channel to be excited for Halloween Horror Nights. And my hope and my dreams is that every single person that goes to Halloween Horror Nights, when they leave, they have two things. One, pure awesome excitement, and two, pure depression because they're leaving. That's what I want. I don't want you to be depressed, but I want you to be like, man, that was one of the coolest, greatest events I've ever experienced. Every single time you go. That's all I want for people. So our goal on this channel is to try to get people excited, to get hyped, to be excited that we're going to Halloween Horror Nights, our favorite time of the year. We talk about it all year, every single day. Speculations, announcements, rumors, this, that, blah, 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 Hondo, all these things we talk about leading up to this moment where we can finally just walk around the park, see some familiar faces, get some scares, have some fattening food, and have a good time. So to me, the build-up, these announcements to me are one of the most important things. And
Is this going to be a tangent? Because I'm going to go to the bathroom.
yeah, it'd only be like 30 minutes. Are you leaving me? Are you walking away?
I'm just going to the bathroom.
She's just going to the restroom, folks. Yeah, I don't know why we had some people say that Stephanie got so mad at me and left the other live stream. She's going to the bathroom. So I'm so sad she's not going to be here to hear my tangent. It's not really a tangent. It's kind of on schedule with today. But it is it's so important to me. I think the announcement season, the speculation season, they are, they go hand in hand. And the announcement season is supposed to uplift the spec season. It's supposed to uplift the energy, the hype, the excitement for everybody who's wanting to attend Halloween Horror Nights, the upcoming year. And I just feel like a graphic in a sentence doesn't do it justice. Now, I'm not saying that that's the only thing they're doing. Obviously, they could do far more stuff, in the future. We can have a lot more videos planned out. We can have, more descriptions for each house come on board and stuff. Maybe we get some insider photos and things like that. There's a whole bunch of things that they could do and might potentially do. But for an announcement, I feel like a graphic isn't. It's not like that, of course you get Slaughter Sinema and it's really exciting. You get Monstrous. I'm really excited for that. I know a lot of people are very excited for Sweets and stuff. But it's one of those where I'm like, if we just got like a 20-second trailer, just like a 20-second, just kind of set the mood, the vibe. What kind of mood are we looking into? Because like one thing that I bring up for instance is like Goblin's Feast. Goblin's Feast is the one out of, I think, the 6 originals that we have announced where my understanding of it is just kind of all over the place. I don't really know exactly what to feel because I don't get the vibe. What I'm seeing from the graphic is giving me one vibe from what I'm reading in the description and from what I'm hoping to see. So it's like having that 20 to 30 second, just like quick little trailer just to get the vibe, just the atmosphere of it. I feel like it's so important to build people's excitement for these houses more compared to just the graphic. And ever more so, like, I really want these people who are really just focused on the IPs, who are not so deep into the lore, who just go to Horror Nights just to go like every now and then and stuff, which There's nothing wrong with that at all. But I feel like with the announcements for the originals, it's so important to give that vibe, to give these trailers, to try to go all out as much as possible so that those kind of casual HHN fans could really buy into it, be more excited for it, to really vote for the originals over the IPs and that kind of nature. And I feel like that's the way to really get people going versus a graphic where the people are like, whatever, I don't know anything about it, let's move on. Because we really don't know much about it right now. So that's why I feel like, the announcement season's important. It's important to get that vibe going, to get the energy going. And I just don't think a graphic in a sentence to start off is the right way to go. I feel like a small little trailer with it just to kind of get the vibe, just so we can understand the vibe of it. Is Goblin's Feast going to be a dark house or is it going to be a comedy house? That trailer would answer that right there. But then we don't see anything. We don't need to see any characters necessarily. We don't need to get much details from the house. A 1-sentence description followed by, following like a little 20-second trailer. That's all I need. Like seeing that, I think will help those just more casual HHN people turn into more hardcore fans, because that's what I would love to see, is more hardcore fans than what we currently have. And I feel like that base has been growing a lot since we started recently too. So
oh yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm gonna say. But I gotta bring some stuff up. I just noticed we have America. Erica says, I've been a member for 20 months.
Jeez.
That's a long time. HHN 32. Yeah, thank you, by the way. Erica's been there for a long time. I can say that. HHN 32 was our first time to go a lot. I did a video each night we left. I loved it so much. My last video on was me breaking down in tears. Yeah, that's what HHN will do when it ends.
Yeah.
It'll make you sad, and I can also say I might have had 5 or 6 tear moments.
He did.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, when you sit there and you're leaving, I look at the arches and be like,
finally I get to sleep. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, that is one of the things too. It's like, finally I can rest and watch the sunset on a grateful universe. But yeah, it's sad. It really is sad. But that's what's so special about this event, is that when it ends in October or November, guess what? Like a month later, we get the whole month of November to kind of talk about it. We get to talk about it. What you think? What was your favorite house? Your ranking? Blah, blah, blah. And we will be doing that again this year, where we do our, fan favorite, house rankings, scare zone rankings. We'll do all that person with you guys again, so we can get the fan vote in there. We'll talk about our rankings. We'll talk about how many times we went through the houses. The November month, wrapping up HHN, those next, few weeks after HHN wraps up, is a good way to just kind of talk about everything. And then we kind of set our eyes towards the next one, because by January, we're already doing speculation. And that's the cool thing about this event. We have spec season, we have announcement season. It's not like Christmas where, you got to wait until like November, December, and then it's Christmas, or like, any other holiday, where this one is like, because of the event, we could just be year-round Halloween. Mm-hmm. So, Erica, thank you so much, though, for the 20 months, by the way, in the Fright Club. Also,
I wanted to say, again, Robbie, you're correct. There's no info on the website, which is so weird.
Is it? Wait, is that still to this day? I realized I haven't checked the website today. You can ask the chat. Just ask the chat. Chat.
I want to see it for myself.
I'm hiring y'all. Do they still not have anything on the houses in the website? Steph's pulling it up. So who's going to win? Is chat going to win? Yeah. Nothing as of today, huh? So we still don't have any information on the houses on the website,
Nope. That is so weird.
See, I mean, do you guys want to get into this conversation with this announcement week? We can, because like I was saying, like, I'd love to see that little trailer video. Like, really, for me, Goblin's Feast, we don't get one. Sweets, we don't get one. Monstrous, we don't get one. Museum, we don't get one. Triplets, Sarah, we don't get one. Like, we don't get ones for those. But for Slaughter Sinema 2 not to get one is where I'm like, we had one in 2018 for the original, and it was so awesome. Why didn't we get one for this year? Like, they knew they were doing Slaughter Cinema 2, so it's like, why didn't we get that? So that's really what bums me out, because they know how much people love this. They themselves love it. So it's like, I wish we would have gotten a video for it. And that's really where that kind of trickled. But then how do you guys feel? Can we actually do a poll in the chat? I want to see what you guys think. Steph's going to set up a poll in the chat. So answer the poll here. Are you guys happy with the way that they did announcement, like this announcement? I call it announcement dump. It's still kind of a dump in a way. It's not a single day, but it's in 1 week. Do you guys prefer this for the originals, or would you rather them space it out? Like space it out even more. So like every 2 weeks we get an original announcement, or each week is a separate announcement. So Stephanie's going to put that in the poll, answer the poll, and then you can also obviously type it up if you want.
I personally don't really have much of an opinion on that. Like, I would like a video or something, but I really could care less if it was like all in 1 week or like spaced out. I don't know.
I'm okay with it being in 1 week like they did. I'm okay with that. I think it's cool because then that's like the HHN week. I'm totally fine with it if we just got like a little more to the announcements, like some of the trailers, more like explanation.
I agree with Chris, maybe not quite as aggressive, but I agree that like it does feel like there is a little bit of a disconnect between like the video that we got, the videos that we got last year that kind of went nowhere. And then
again, I feel like that's for something bigger that we're not.
But it's like it should tie into at least something that makes sense to us in the time being. And I feel like it just isn't. And then we get an announcement that is like unrelated to the last thing that we saw. So I agree that I would rather have like something that is like cohesive and like one storyline for a season than like when it is or when they're announced, or if originals comes first or IPs. Like, I don't really care about that.
But wouldn't you agree that the way these big companies and corporations have been, it's more focused on the dollar amount, that this, by doing those like videos like that, is a way for them to give some love to the like the hardcore fans as much as they can and spread it out periodically, while of course amusing those who are just like, give us an announcement, we just want an announcement, and then doing just the house announcements. And they do those, so it's like we're building something for you hardcore fans. It's going to take some time because we can't just all do it in the same year. Yeah, but I'm
not even saying like, oh, something like lore specific that's for the hardcore fans. I personally, maybe it's just the way my brain works, I would like all of their marketing to be cohesive, like Chris was saying.
I would say a little more. I agree. I think it could be better. I do agree. I think everything could be better.
Yeah, and except for the whole situation with the houses not being on the website and us not getting podcast episodes, which I know those typically come out later. Like, so
the website is what confuses me, because aren't they promoting their own event? And if they have a website, not the Halloween Horror Nights website, just the website they currently use, wouldn't you think if on that section where it talks about the houses and it's like, oh, like sign up for the details and all that, when people go onto the Horror Nights website and they go there to, you know, book their tickets and look what's there, they can't find it unless they go to their other social media platforms for it? That doesn't make sense to me. Like,
also,
go ahead. No, I'm just going to be going.
Also, Erica said the video was about Fear being released, so that's why we got the originals. The original announcements were what was opened up. But I feel like that wasn't, like, that was never referenced in the announcements, if that makes sense. Like, what I'm saying is, like, if you're going to release a video and it's, like, very vague but has a theme to it, and then a week later you have all these announcements, at least maybe release another video like the day before, being like, all right, here it is, like this is what is being released, and then announcement. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it just kind of felt like that video had nothing to do with anything, at least to me. Unless at the end of announcement season, they make another video that wraps it all together. But that's what we were hoping for last year, and we didn't get that.
Again, like I said, we have to take a step back, let them do their thing, with that side of the story, as far as like that video with like the nasty nest. That's what we're gonna call it. Can we actually make a shirt for it?
No,
the nasty
I will
nest.
not make that.
Nasty, and it's just like the original photo or the house announcement's just falling out. Anyways,
No.
That, like, again, it's like watching. I'm gonna make a Star Wars reference. It's like being on, Star Wars Episode 3, and everyone's like, where's this time? It's like, hold up, we still have to tell 4. We have to tell 5, and then we get to 6. So that one, like I said, take a step back. We'll get that. But as far as the announcements go, I don't think the house announcements being announced like this has any correlation to that video.
Exactly.
I know, but that's
I
what
would
I'm
like
saying.
it to.
I agree to an extent, because when you add major suites in there, I don't want major suites to be
No, it
correlated
doesn't
to
have
nasty
to.
nest.
No, but it doesn't have to be so like. It doesn't have to be so literal where like every original house is featured in this video.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like.
You sure you don't want major suites to be the thing that pops out of that?
I'm just saying like if they're gonna do these videos for announcement season, like make it one thing. This is what my brain is doing is like, I want like brackets. Like I don't want like you're saying like, oh, we just have to wait. We just have to wait. Like
it doesn't feel organized to you? Is that what you're saying?
It doesn't feel organized, and it doesn't feel like one thing. It feels like
one plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like you were saying, like, oh, the video from last year, like the podcast thing, that might be, coming up. We might get that down the road, but I don't like that. Like, I'd rather each announcement season be its thing. And if there are things that are related to that, then they can come back, but don't just leave it open-ended. I don't know. That's just me.
Okay.
It just feels disorganized in my brain.
Yeah. I feel like there's two conversations happening here, and I agree with you on one of them, and the other one I think we're separate.
This is how every conversation we ever have goes.
No,
we're like having two completely different conversations at the same time.
I think like this conversation itself has two separate conversations within it where we both agree on one, and I think the other side of it we're a little separate on. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it doesn't feel intentional. Like James said, doesn't feel like intentional marketing. I agree. Like yes. I don't know if you were saying that or asking that, but that's kind of how I feel is it's just like, here's a video. And everybody's like, cool, what's that? And they're like, here's another video. And everybody's like, okay, what's that one about? And they're like, we won't tell you. And it's like, okay. I don't know.
No, I mean, I respect that because it does feel that way. I mean, you're not wrong. But like I said, I feel like 2 years from now, and it's one of those things where it's like, should we have to wait 2 years? I mean, no.
Yeah, and sorry.
No, go ahead. I'll let you take the lead on interruption.
I think this is the problem. I think I agree with the big B that if it was like 10 years ago when they just came out with a commercial and it was just a commercial and it had nothing to do with anything other than that commercial.
I miss those days.
Yeah. Then we wouldn't be having this conversation. But when they do these kind of like open-ended, vague videos, and especially when they also add in their like don't watch this video and like
watch it.
Yeah, like things like that.
Yeah.
Like it essentially creates this speculation on like, oh, what is this? What could this be? And the community themselves has kind of gone swept up into this like everything's an Easter egg. Everything is speculation, which is fine. It's fun. But I think Horror Nights also kind of plays into that, but without a real payoff like in mind. They're just like, this is just a marketing video. Like it's just a video. It doesn't have like a deeper meaning. Maybe it does. I don't know. But it kind of feels like that's what they're doing. And then we as a community are like, what's the deeper meaning? And they're just like, there is none. I don't know. That's how it feels to me. And I'm like, it's just kind of frustrating to be like sitting here speculating and then never get any answers.
Again, I agree with you until you get to the point of creative storytelling, where I feel like if you were to tell the team at Horror Nights that you only get 1 year to tell this one story, and then the next year you have to have a brand new story, we would have 33 years of different stories each year. And to make stories right? Although, like, some people it's very easy, some people it's very hard to do so. But to have a creative team like Horror Nights, they can easily come with stories. But to tell them, you have to give us a horror themed story every single year, and it's got to be different, and it's got to correlate, everything's got to fit. That's a tall order, especially for nowadays. We know how, like, you know, big companies run and stuff, and how legal is, and everything is just, everything has got to be so careful nowadays, right? That it's much harder to actually get that stuff out. Where I feel like, at least for me personally, this is my opinion, Halloween Horror Nights is a living thing where I feel like everybody looks at it, and as you know, as far as from where your kind of your point is, which your point that you're making, by the way, I will say is valid because it feels that way. But at the same point, in my opinion, you guys are coming from the wrong perspective of it, where it's, they are taking a note from like what like Marvel kind of did, where it's like, yeah, you had this one movie and, you know, it told this and it's really cool. But at the end of it, we saw this little thing. What does it have to do with that? It's going to tell a bigger story. And it's one of those things where it's teaching, like, in a sense of patience. I know it's grueling. It's like, why? But
I feel like as a society, we're getting sick of that.
I get that. But then again, that's why we have to learn patience a little bit. Because once we get to that big anniversary year, where then we get a video that connects everything, where we go, oh, like the bad ape. Have you guys seen the like the bad ape meme? Oh no.
I think that's only your For You page.
Maybe. I feel like I'm in. You tell me all this, or you tell me this all the time. I'm always in a very small niche of things. But it's one of those things where I feel like it's gonna tell this huge story, but you have to let it build. You can't tell it all in 1 year one because it might be way too much to tell. On the same thing, in my opinion, Halloween Horror Nights is a living thing. Yes, it's an event. It's a money-making machine. I get it. You know, people dress up, people go, have drinks, have food. Yes, I get it's an event. But the storyline of it is that it's a living thing. And I feel like we're getting to that point where they're introducing something bigger. When you have the lore that Halloween Horror Nights has after 30 plus years, you can't tell everything in 1 year, especially if they want to introduce something bigger than who? Jack. Why is Jack so big? Because everybody, not everybody, but a majority of people love him. He was like one of the main first official like icons of Halloween Horror Nights. He shaped the event. He made it to what it was. It's like, okay, can we do something bigger? Oh no, you can never do something bigger than Jack. Why not? Can we try? I don't think they could do that in 1 year. It takes multiple years. Tell a bigger story, incorporate all these other stories into it, build upon that. I feel like that's where they're going, but it needs time. Where I feel like the drop in that connection is how they announce the other houses and the originals based on that year and the theme is. Those two to me don't feel like they connect. And I agree with you on that. I feel like it could be better where each year kind of connects to that story where it's not. I agree with that.
I just want every year, like, even if it does contribute to a larger story, I want every year for that year's story to have an ending. I feel like what we're getting is like, if the Marvel movie like stopped in the middle of it and then they were like, you have to wait for the next one, but there was no ending to that first one, it just in the middle of the actual movie, like in the middle of a sentence, just stopped. And then they were like, you have to wait a year for the next one. That's what I feel like. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to be one movie that's chunked into like, you get this little bit this year and this little bit this year. I want like a first movie and then a sequel and then the third movie that all go together.
I will say, I think what would really help you as well as other fans that kind of have that same view that you're speaking of is if Horror Nights at the end of their event had a video to wrap that up and show how it connected.
Or before opening night. I mean, it doesn't have to be at the end of the year.
Sure, but I feel like at the end of the year would be like that credit scene, roll credits. How did this little teaser thing fit with this year? And how did it do that? And they showcase that, and it gives us that like, oh, okay. Like, and that's what really just starts speculation season right there. How does this lead into next year and stuff? Like they did back in HH 1031. I'm thinking Chucky. Chucky was last year. For 32. So at the end of 31, the last night, we had Chucky announced, which, in my opinion, was terrible. Like, they could have done more. But anyways, you do something like that, but the lore base, the story base, where it wraps up this last year. You have something that then introduces what next year is coming to. So it shows how that connects and how the next year is going to follow that.
Yeah.
I feel like that is, if they added something like that, it might help.
Yeah, I think Benny Bob kind of said it perfectly. It's like a cliffhanger at the end of a movie, but in the next movie, like, it doesn't pay off. You don't get the ending to that cliffhanger. You just get another cliffhanger. And then it's just another cliffhanger and another cliffhanger. Like, they're all different storylines.
Let me ask you this. How was the Marvel Cinematic Universe leading up to Infinity War and Endgame? You had Iron Man that was telling a story. Guardians of the Galaxy was... I mean, I'm just, like, asking, like...
I know, but we're getting way too into the weeds.
Let's do it. I just shanked my driver off into the rough, and we're, like, 6 feet
I think we should read this super chat first.
Is Mia bringing us back?
Yes.
Mia Stonewolf, ladies and gentlemen, you heard of her once, you hear of her twice, with another 5 saying, I think the announcements were just too lackluster to push the hype. Some depth right now on 1 or 2 houses would help. We need a rally point. And yeah, I agree. First of all, thanks again for the 5, by the way, for another 5. Again, I'm happy that the originals weren't all in one day.
And I like them being first.
I agree. I like them being first. And I've always wondered, like, I know the age of the IP, that's kind of what's going on. But, like, they really, like, are pretty confirmed on the originals. It's like, why don't we get those first and stuff?
And they don't have to wait on, like, the licensing and the approval and all that.
Depending, but majority of the time, yeah. So it would be really nice to be able to get just a little bit more. And I know, like, I've had somebody comment before just saying, like, you know, you want them to spoil everything. I was like, no, that's not at all what we're asking. Instead, what I'm asking is, if Horror Nights in 2018 was here with their marketing and the way they did the videos and the trailers and stuff, and what they're at right now is here, it's like, all I ask is just to be right here. Like, once they set the bar, it's like, let's stay at the bar at least. And that's what I really referenced to, was 2018 getting Slaughter Sinema, getting their little trailer video from 2018 Slaughter Sinema, to this year just having a graphic. Granted, the Spooky Empire thing was an additional bonus, but then again, we didn't get a graphic. There's nothing that the casual fan, I speak for the casual fan on this as if I was a salesman up to the casual fan, where I don't want to just be like to the casual fan, hey, look at the IP we're getting this. We're getting Stranger Things, like, which people will be like, oh, cool. But I'm like, hey, but look at these originals, like the creative team. This is what they create. This is all original. Look at the idea, the storyline. To a casual person, just a graphic in one sentence may not really sit well with them. And I have people that I know personally that is looking forward to Horror Nights. We have some people that it's going to be their first time ever going this year. And showing them this graphic in one sentence, it's hard for me to build that hype with them, because they're not involved in speculation season like we are, where I'm like, oh, it might be this and it could be this and this is a tie into this reference. They're really like, that's just a lot. Like, what is the house really about? Like, I'm like, I don't know. Unfortunately, I really don't know what to tell you. Where if we had a little video, I could show them, they'd be like, oh, okay, I get this vibe. Either they love it or they hate it, or they're somewhere in between. I feel like it's easier to sell that casual fan to really be like, I really want to go and see the originals versus just the IPs. Because I feel like we're in such a moment, especially in theme park history, where everything is IP. It's got to be IP. It's got to be IP. But in my opinion, what made the theme parks, what made them special, and what a lot of like really hardcore fans love is the original stuff. It's the creativity of the team, because we know the team has no bounds as far as creativity goes. They pull all this off. That is what I want to sell for the casual fan, so we can have this very strong, tight-knit community that's just like, we love what Horror Nights can just do. We don't need the IPs. Granted, I personally love them. I really do love the IPs. I think they're important to have, but I look at it as the originals are really where the heart is. So that's where I want the casual fans to also buy into as well.
You done for your 10th tangent of the night?
I'm just getting warmed up.
Anyway, we do have a super chat.
We do. Mr. Jim Daniels, probably the longest current active Fright Club member, a Fright Club legend. 22 months, saying the mention of Upchucky made me want to Upchuck. You're welcome. That was also pretty much just signified towards you. And then decided to drop 50 and says, here's 50. Have to wonder what direction HHN is getting. Just strange. Hey, what was this year? Well, the theme that we said for this year?
You said.
Okay, fine. I said fork in the road, right? What kind of path are we taking? You know, and there's like some positives, and I feel like there's some negatives on it. But then again, that's why I'm like, hey, let's be patient, because I feel like we've had that fork in the road for this year, and it feels like they went one way and then they went the other, and they swapped. I'm like, what side are we on right now?
Yeah.
Which is why me personally, I'm like, okay, let me just take a step back. Let me kind of see how it pans out. We're only in May, late May. So we still have 2 months of like, you know, pretty high potential stuff that they can work on that we might not know.
And I do agree with Brian.
No way.
Not you,
no.
Brian.
Oh. I thought you were about to.
Brian said, I would take 10 originals. What did I do? Chris said my name in all capitals. I don't know what I did. I would take 10 originals over 5 random IPs that I either don't care about or don't feel like Halloween to me. And I agree with that, especially because one thing that I feel has been a weakness of Horror Nights in the past few years is picking IPs that are a little bit more for the general audience. And like if you look at like horror movies, the horror movies that are, you know, rated R, really gory, really scary, would make an absolutely terrifying house, are not typically like the most, you know, the general public is watching. The general public is watching Blumhouse movies, unfortunately. No, I just by that I don't mean that they shouldn't watch them. I just mean that
I get what you mean.
I think more people should venture into, you know, some of the other horror movies. But what I'm saying is that I feel like Horror Nights is kind of catering more to just the general fan, not even a horror movie fan, just like anybody, any random person off the street. So they are picking IPs that aren't scary or aren't really like really horror movies at all. And I feel like that's where the horror or the IPs have fallen a little short in the last few years. Like one of the last like really good, actually scary IPs that we got was House of a Thousand Corpses. And that movie is not like a general audience's movie.
Can I cut in and interrupt you?
Sure.
What about Haunting of Hill House?
Yeah, but that's a scary show. I mean, I would say that's pretty scary.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You said the last time we got, you said 1,000 Corpses. That was 2019.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that like Ghostbusters. Sorry, I love Ghostbusters, but like Ghostbusters, Beetlejuice, like even Stranger Things, they're not scary. So I feel like they do tend to lean towards that a little bit more, maybe to get more people in. And it makes those houses just like not really scary. And then I don't really care for them because I would much prefer a house that is actually scary over one that's based off of a show that I really like or a movie I really like.
What? And by the way, if you guys are wondering why am I checking my phone constantly, it's because I'm keeping an eye on the Rangers-Panthers game right now. Panthers up 2-1, coming to the end of the second. But yeah, here's the thing. I feel like, you know, the way it is, there needs to be a good balance, and I feel like we're kind of missing on that like high intensity as far as scares go. We're just missing that just a little bit. And I just feel like, you know, we're one IP or one original away from having at the event where it's like, you know, and I'm going to use Exorcist as an example. Exorcist, the house, from what we've heard a lot of people say, was a very scary house. I will agree with that. Would you not?
Exorcist?
From last year. I feel like Exorcist was a good touch because of the way the scare actors were in the house.
Yeah, the house
and
was.
the setting. Yeah, no,
but the movie
again,
wasn't.
But the house. Go lay down. Go lay down. We're not done. We're not done. He's at the hour and like 20-minute mark. It just depends. I don't know. These things are hard, you know, like putting an event together like this is not easy. And there's so many moving pieces that it's very hard to oversee it and to do things. I don't know. I'm very split on the way things are. I'm very
Yeah.
split.
It's just they definitely are going more for IPs that are going to bring people in than IPs that would make good haunted houses.
I mean, yeah, I think that's how all theme park companies are right now.
Yeah.
It's the age of IPs. Also, I do want to say this too. Shout out to the over 200 people that are currently watching us. I have nothing better to do on a Tuesday evening.
Right when you said that, I went to 199 for me.
Good drop. But hey, shout out to all of you guys. If you guys are enjoying the stream, if you guys love Halloween Horror Nights, leave a like on the live stream. It helps a lot. We'd really appreciate it. But over to the 200 people that's watching us, shout out to you guys. We appreciate the support. If you guys
listen to us just yap at each other,
go on and on. This is what we do, is just on a normal basis too. But yeah, if you guys are just joining us, just kind of want to get you guys caught up. You know, we're at the hour and 26 minute mark right now. We're just kind of talking about this last week's announcements dump, if you will, that we got this past week, and just talking about the 6 original haunted houses that were officially announced by Halloween Horror Nights. We're kind of going over that, kind of the houses, how we feel, what the vibe is, especially with the announcement season. What are we looking forward to? We kind of talked about our little like, what's your like ranking list of anticipated based on the originals, and we're really looking forward to it. We're really excited. It seems like things are going in a positive way, but there are some things that feel like it could be worked out and stuff. So we're just kind of like just chilling, chatting about that. Tonight's live stream is very just laid back, just very chilled. And here soon, we will be turning the mics over to you guys for questions again, and then just kind of going over that as well.
Did you call them all losers?
Did I?
Did you?
Sure.
It's not nice.
Hey, you losers! Did I say that?
Maybe you said that.
Maybe.
That's not Brian. That's Chucky.
Hey, you losers! Does anybody get that? 2018, the Scare Zone of Chucky. I don't know. OGs will know. I say OG like 2018 is an OG thing. That's not an OG thing.
It's like
2018 is pretty recent.
a few years ago.
If you're like a Halloween Horror Nights OG, I mean, we're talking like 10 plus years, 20 plus years, actually.
Yeah.
We're getting 30 plus years.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I want both like the super scary houses and like Stranger Things and stuff like that. Like, I was very excited for Stranger Things, you know, especially like the first year, and the second year until I went through it. But I feel like maybe one of those per year. Maybe not thing, like 3.
Well, here's the thing. I love Stranger Things. You would agree that the first year, 2018, was great, right?
Yeah.
But
it wasn't scary.
Okay, cool. Again, you are tougher than most when it comes to that.
I want to be scared.
I know, I get it, and like that's why I think there needs to be that balance where there's one house where everyone's like
only one,
at least one.
Okay.
Well, there's at least one. I would vote for 12 of the houses to be like that. And people may be like, "What do you mean 12?" I mean, like, there's 2 and you don't realize it, and it's gonna be at your house before and after. Anyways,
see, I want like our first year of going to haunts together, like or after, like we were no longer scare actors.
No.
We went to Screamageddon, and after the first house, we got out of it, and my mind immediately went, "Oh my god, I hope Brian's okay." And I turned around and I went, "Are you okay?" Like, I want a house like that at HHN.
Okay. I was fine with the first house, by the way, in that video, Screamageddon. The one that really killed me was that I think it was the second house we went into. I think it was the second or third house, where we came into one room that was pitch black and had body bags hanging from it. And I couldn't see where I was going. So I said, absolutely not. I will wait until the next group catches up to us. And we waited.
I think
Steph was like, no, keep going. I was like, absolutely not.
I think the worst part, though, was not that. I mean, that was bad. But I think the worst part was the area that was like a maze. There wasn't like a single, like you didn't just go forward. It was a maze, and it was strobing. So like you couldn't even. Do you remember that part?
About.
And we got stuck in there for like a good minute.
Yeah, I know that. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So here's the thing. Horror Nights can't do like...
They can't do that.
Because of just the amount of crowds that they have, and we get the flow and the efficiency and all that kind of stuff, the logistics. But it would be nice if they had... You know, I'm going to use this house. Dead Exposure, a house I never got to do in 2018. I feel like from what I've heard, the energy and the vibe of that house was just like, their goal is to just scare you. That is it. That is the creative's goal, and that is the scare actor's goal in that house. And it felt like they both like, yes, they shook hands on that.
Yeah.
Where I feel like Dead Man's Pier, beautiful house. What's it scary? Not to me, but it was a beautiful house. Does it belong in HHN? Absolutely. I think so. But does every house need to be like that? No. I feel like we need that balance where you have that scale of 1 to 10, 10 being absolute scare, top of the line, and 0 being like, it's the comedy. It's just a fun house. I think you need to fill that scale up.
Yeah.
You need a house at 10, a house at 9, 8, 8, 8, 8, maybe a 5, a 3, and then a 1. You need to have that balance to feed the guests in different vibes.
And I am aware that, like, I know that I am desensitized to...
Is that a plane?
Yeah. I know I am desensitized to, like, haunted houses in general, but specifically Horror Nights because we've worked there. During that season, we pretty much live there, so it feels safe.
We've seen both sides of the mask, if you will. So.
But it feels like a safe place.
Yeah.
So there's not really going to be a ton of like houses that I go through at HHN that are going to like genuinely like, I don't want to go through this, because I just don't think that I'll ever feel that way about an HHN house. But I do want to like get some jump scares at least. And there are definitely houses the last 2-3 years where I've maybe gotten like one jump scare, like
the numbers have
one
gone down a
weekend.
bit. Yeah, it's gone down a bit. Like I said, that's why we bring up Darkest Deal from last year, where it's consistent. Well, why? And here, and this is like, I'm gonna steal a Horror Nights little reference. You guys remember the Halloween Horror Nights Art of the Scare? I have the CD. Actually, I have the CD right there. I'm not gonna reach for it, but like the art of the scare. By the way, if you guys get it, I think it's on YouTube as well. You can watch it on YouTube. Halloween Horror Nights, the Art of the Scare. Look it up. They show you behind the scenes on how they scare a guest. And in Dark Steel, there's one specific scene, one scare actor that constantly, you knew it was happening, but they still scared you constantly. And especially for Steph, who obviously doesn't get scared easily. And now to this point, I don't as well as far as Horror Nights is concerned. Other things, yes, because I'm not familiar with the area, but with Horror Nights, I'm very familiar with. So can you move that off the arm? Just move it off the arm. Thank you. So the what was I saying? That one scare actor in Darkest Deal, I give high praise to it.
He was the first one in the last room.
Yeah,
Somebody
first
asked
one
if
in the
it was
last
the
room.
trumpet guy. He got us too.
Yeah, the trumpet one did too. But that whole graveyard scene, by the way, perfect. That is a good display of teamwork with the scare actors. But I'm talking about the specific one in the last scene, in the first one on the left in the last scene. What was so unique about it was the aggressive energy that they gave off and their timing. Things always come down to timing when you perfect your scares. And we're gonna open up the Brian from Orlando Scare Acting Academy. We're gonna open that up. But it comes to timing, and a really good trained scare actor, whether it's their first year or 50th year, they will learn their character. They will learn their atmosphere, their setting. They will know their place in the house. Depending on your place in the house, depends on the energy you give to. And not only that, you have to know what lighting do you have? Do you have strobes? Do you have low lit lighting? Is it bright? What is the lighting? What is the atmosphere of your room and your stories
yeah, and that
telling?
guy in the last, the first scare in the last room, he would time it so that he would come out as the strobe was off, and then when it would strobe on him, he's like right in front of your face.
Yeah.
Love that. Sorry, did I disrupt
No,
your...
no, that was actually exactly what I was getting to. So you said it.
Yeah. But so yeah, it does have a lot to do with scare actors, but again, I think it also is some of the IPs especially, but even some of the originals like Dead Man's was not created with the intent of it being a lot of jump scares and super scary. It just was pretty, which is fine. I'm okay with them having
one or two.
A few of those per year.
No, one or two.
Yeah.
Let's not get too much.
2 of those per year. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like we have been getting less actually scary. scary is subjective, but I feel like they have been getting less scary.
I'd say the aggression has gone down a bit. That's what I will say. And here's the thing, you know, even in kind of like I was saying until Steph kind of jumped in there and basically was saying what I was going to say was, you know, scare actors can have the most energy and aggression, but it does depend on, you know, the actual scene they're in. It depends on the house itself. It's really hard for a house like Dead Man's Pier if its intent is not necessarily so much so to really scare you, like to make you get out of the house being like, I'm like, that terrified me, I will not go through that house again. It's really hard for a scare actor to be that kind of scare actor, if you know what I'm talking about, like with the energy and like that's not their character, which is why it's important, you know, obviously for the, you know, the scare actors to know their characters, to learn it in and out.
And this is kind of what I was saying when we were talking about, like, yes, it is up to this character's energy and stuff, but some of the houses, you know, there are definitely locations that apply to this. Robbie said the boo hole placement is important as well. Like, some are just like too far from the path or even too close to where this character can't even actually come out, and they're just stuck behind a wall essentially. And it's hard because, of course, you don't have people going through with scare actors before the event starts. So it is difficult to like gauge how well a scare is going to work. But there are definitely like scares that we've looked at before and I've been like, that could definitely, you know, whatever they did there was...
Could be improved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is definitely doing a disservice to that scare actor because they're coming out and like either scaring at the back of people's heads or they're don't have enough space. Like, there's so many where you turn around and you're like, oh, there's a person right there. You know what I mean? And I feel like some of the houses that aren't as scary have those types of issues.
Yeah.
But again, it's hard to know before
absolutely.
it opens.
I mean, most of the time when they create these houses, especially like the originals, you know, they have an idea, but you never know. Like, there's so many times Steph and I, we have ideas and it never turns out to be what we were hoping for it to be. And some things that we create were like, we did not expect it to be as good as it was. But I mean, that's just how it is when you do, you know, creative storytelling and things like that.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like Mark said, the attendance moving people along kills the vibe a little bit.
Like, here's the thing. I feel like last year was so much better.
They weren't like...
Last year was so much better.
They weren't
with
like as
that.
vocal.
Yeah. Last year I felt like was such an improvement as far as like house operations went compared to the previous 2 years. I feel like last year was really good. We've actually never had an issue. And there was times we would go through the house. I'm not a fast walker through a haunted house at Horror Nights. I walk. I'm not like slow when I walk, but I'm like just below average in a way in speed. And especially when we go through a house that's lower just a little bit, because I want to see everything. I want to see the scares. I want to see the energy. And a lot of times what I'll do too is, especially if I've gone through a house multiple times, depending who's in front of me or behind me, I try to pay attention to the guests and how their reactions are, especially to certain scenes, to certain scares. You know, like there are certain scenes that we both know they're like, oh, this one's going to get these people. I want to see that reaction, see how they react to it. How's the atmosphere? Are they feeling scared? Do they feel fun? Like, what is the kind of vibe and stuff? So like a lot of the times, you know, going through it, we look for that stuff. So I'm not a fast person going through the house. So like last year I was worried about, I'm probably going to get a lot of times because there was gaps when we go through a house, there was gaps. Not once did I have an issue where a house operations person came through and was like, come on. Yeah. They waited till you go through and they would just kind of point you through.
I will say I always go first. So I'm normally the one that gets those people.
True. But then you're usually like always a scene ahead of me sometimes.
Yeah. But I do agree that
it's improved.
But it's one of those unfortunate situations where like somebody years ago ruined, well, not just one person, but a lot of people ruined it for the rest of us, where like unfortunately they do have to have those people, because you would have people just like stopping or doing mean things to the scare actors or destroying the sets.
Yeah,
it does happen. When I was in Blumhouse,
It's happened.
Someone broke one of the beds that in one of the scenes for Happy Death Day, there was a bed because she's like waking up every morning, whatever. So one of the guests literally jumped on one of the beds and broke it.
Yeah, it happens.
Someone also tried to pick up and take an entire like fake keg out of the party room, and they didn't have it bolted down yet, and they tried to literally take it. So yes, unfortunately, people do ruin it for the rest of us.
It happens.
And they do have to have attendance there for the safety and security of everybody. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. All right, so let's go ahead and let's shift the topic now of conversation from what we kind of talked about with the announcements and kind of the process and all that to instead dropping in the second rapid fire Q&A section. I'm gonna drop another one. Why not? We'll get you guys, obviously, you know what to do. Ask away some questions. Try to make this one, if you guys can, you can say whatever you want. You can ask whatever you want. Try to make this one more centered around the announcements and stuff that we just got in the houses. Kind of want to talk about that just a little bit more and stuff. And then we'll kind of turn it away to just let you guys ask some questions and kind of maybe we, as I'm suffering from heartburn.
Yeah, are you good?
As I'm suffering from heartburn right now. But yeah, we'll ask you some questions as well. And we'll kind of see how the community feeds back on that. And then maybe we get into a Fright Island situation for those of you that know. Mm-hmm. Katie K is about to figure it out. Our new Fright Club member. She's going to be like, what? What did he say?
What did he say?
What did he say? Huh? So, ladies and gentlemen, 5 minutes is on the screen. The clock is ticking. Let's get some rapid fire Q&A going real quick.
First one. I told you this right before we got on the live that this would come up. Did you see the hotline pointed out that one of the H-lot facades in Hollywood matches the window of the lipstick face demon's hair lair in Insidious?
Yeah,
yes, we did see that.
We saw some of the photos for that. Cool.
It's one of the rumored houses, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, like.
But
this is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say. Hollywood people, I'm so sorry that you guys are having to sit there and suffer through not getting official announcements. But you guys do get to see some of the construction that's kind of going on that points towards that direction. As far as like that post goes with that, it does look like that. Is it? I don't know. But it does look like it's going that direction, which is the one negative thing about Hollywood not getting announcements.
Yeah, they can see it. It's like,
yeah, it's
we
like,
see it.
I think that's like Killer Clowns for me. When they had the Killer Clowns one, I was like, it's Killer Clowns. Yeah, and the La Llorona too. It's like, that's, yeah. So I get that.
Do you think the museum house will have to do with Universal in any way or just be a random museum? Ooh.
See, that's a good question. And
that's a good question.
That's a question we have had ourselves as well. Is this something that's going to be story related with Universal? Is it going to tie into the Universal Museum that we've had in years past at HHN? Or is it just a random museum? I would love for it to tie into Universal and Halloween Horror Nights in some way. Would be really cool. But at the same time, I'm okay with them just doing their own museum story. It'd be cool to see it. I think, just like I said earlier in the live stream, a museum-esque house would be very fun. Mm-hmm. So
agreed. Another one about the facades. Favorite house you enjoyed during Behind the Screams tour? Oh, what was like a really cool one to get to see?
Wicked Growth.
I mean, yeah, of course.
Wicked Growth, so cool. Haunting of Hill House, fantastic. Icons,
Hill House was
beautiful.
Cool too. Oh, Icons, that's my favorite one.
Icons was cool. Monsters, Legends Collide, loved it. Loved seeing that one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Hey, what about last year? What was one from last year that you really loved? I mean, seeing Unmasked, any classic Monsters house for the Unmasking Horror Tour, I love seeing.
Yeah.
That was really cool. But I would say Dueling Dragons last year was the one that I was like, yes.
I actually think Stranger Things was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, Stranger Things was cool. It was.
Serious question.
Very serious. What we got?
Where's the best bathroom to poop at during HHN?
Interesting. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I wouldn't know either, but as far as like the least busy bathroom?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm all about space.
I feel like
having
they're all
space.
pretty busy all the time.
I don't know. Like I always find myself going to the one in New York. Not the Jimmy Fallon one.
Oh,
but
I
the
was
one by
gonna say that one's
Louis.
always
Yeah,
packed.
no, the one in Louis. I always find myself kind of going over there.
That one's kind of busy too.
I mean, they're all kind of busy. I mean,
I'm a female, so every bathroom in the park has a line.
that's a good question. Maybe we'll just talk to you privately about that one. If you need some help, just message us privately. We'll get to the bottom of that.
Do we think they'll do another food experience or just the random pop-ups? I hope they do the random pop-ups because we loved when they did that.
That was
with
cool.
the meats.
But
thing.
see, they didn't do Taste of Terror last year, did they? Was that last year? Why can't I?
That
not
was
think
last
it?
year.
Right?
That was
Okay,
last
that
year.
was last year.
Because they had
then-
the ravioli.
I would say it probably will happen again this year. If they made money off of it, why wouldn't they do it again? I could see it happening. They know there's a market out there for food, obviously. All right, next question. We're doing terrible with the
Do
rapid
we
fire.
think we'll get podcast episodes this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a good chance with it.
Yeah.
I mean, they did it last year, so
Are we getting another Universal Hotel Halloween offering like we did during HHN with Chucky? So another pop-up.
yeah.
I think they will. It'll be an IP.
yeah, Cabana Bay, they'll have something there.
Or whatever they're doing with the monsters.
I think it'd be great. That's all I can say.
If they do that Silver Screen Queens thing, I can see them doing that.
Yeah, it draws people to the hotels and to experience more things at the hotels versus just at the parks.
Are the 2 new sprung tents confirmed to be for HHN?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Another pooping question.
All right, get one more question. We got 3 seconds.
Which of the originals would be best for a soundstage? Ooh.
Out of the 6, see, that's a good question. I like that.
I feel like museum.
Museum would be good. Yeah, museum would be good. Anything that has to do with kind of being like, see, I would say like in a building in a way. So like museum would be really good. I feel like suites would be a good one as well. Goblin's Feast, I feel like would be good as a sprung tent. It could also work very well in a soundstage. I want Slaughter Cinema 2 to be in a sprung tent. I am praying.
It will be.
I'm praying for it to be.
It will be.
I know it will be.
Triplets of Terror, Slaughter Cinema, Goblins, all soundstage would work well in a tents. I think Monstrous maybe, and then museum. Oh, and suites could be sound stages. Maybe suites or museum.
I would say museum, my top rank, to be in a soundstage. That's what I want. Then suites, then Monstrous. I think Monstrous, I would say actually put Monstrous, put Goblin's Feast, Triplets of Terror, and Slaughter Cinema in the sprung tents. Fast and Furious, put, did I say Goblins already? No, I
I
didn't.
don't know. I'm reading all the comments
Major
about
Suites.
pooping at HHN.
Oh my gosh. Community, take one step back. Be patient. Be patient. And then I would put,
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
I guess. And then put whatever. This rapid fire Q&A session has completely finished. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for that. Also, I need to bring this up. This happened during the rapid fire Q&A. We have a new Fright Club member to welcome in, Catherine Rezio.
Welcome.
Join the Fright Club beginner. Welcome aboard.
Yay.
And speaking of Fright Clubs, I think I should bring this up real quick. Anybody who's in the Fright Club, you might already know this. If you're like Catherine or Katie and you're like, no, what? We have something for you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's right. Fright Island coming soon. If you guys were a part of our last week's live stream, you got to see that before that we announced Fright Island. We've also kind of hinted at it coming to the live streams. This is our final announcement, at least during a live stream, for Fright Island. It is a Fright Club members only exclusive invitation that, how do you say this properly? I'm trying to figure that out. I was like, what am I trying to say right now? Yeah, so Fright Club member exclusive only invitation for this kind of game show that we're doing for the upcoming months leading up to HHN. We'll have segments just kind of like what we do with the rapid fire Q&A. We will have our Fright Club members will be a part of the show. They'll be invited to this island. And then one by one, some will disappear some magical way. And there will be one survivor that will end up winning Fright Island, the game show and stuff where you may not make it out alive. But our Fright Club members, they will be going up against each other and stuff. And, you know, the last remaining survivor, a part of Fright Island, will win a BFO merchandise gift package. Which would be really cool. We'll get more details on that too as far as the gift package goes. But for Fright Club members, this is kind of the rules. You have to be a Fright Club member in order to be involved in this game. And you have to be a Fright Club member starting from the final cutoff date, which is May 31st, the final day of this month at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. You have to be a Fright Club member by then so we can get the invitations. And when I mean by invitations, we're going to be putting you into the game. And then you have to be a member all the way through the final day of Fright Island being shown, unless you get killed off, obviously. You can leave because you'll be killed off already. But you have to be a Fright Club member all the way through, which will be August 29th for the HHN Eve live stream that we will be hosting like we do every single year for our HHN Eve lives. But we'll be having this section of the live streams called Fright Island. And it's basically, you guys will see... Yeah, I don't know, maybe like some Hunger Games-esque things, you know, people not making it, unfortunately. You get to see why and how and all that, and then the last one alive will win a whole prize thing. It's just another game that we're adding to the live show, so it'll be a lot of fun. So
yeah, you may need to log in on your laptop, but I did drop a link. It should work. I don't know if it works on the phone, but it did work when I did it on my computer. So.
Yeah, it might be a desktop thing that you have to do.
Yeah.
And if not, then it's, sorry, your fault. I'm kidding. But that'll be a fun little game that we have. It'll be cool. I think you guys will enjoy it. See some people die in weird ways, and then one person will win.
Dumb ways
or
to
will
die.
they? Well,
Remember
yeah, that
that?
was. Yeah, do you guys remember that? Dumb ways to die.
I just know it was a TikTok on you.
Yeah, that was. So yeah, that'll be fun. But anyways,
wait, this is a good question. I know it's not rapid fire.
It's
but
okay. Hey, go ahead. On it, real quick. Before you ask that question, like we're in this segment now. We kind of like went over the things we really wanted to talk about. I realized we're already almost at 2 hours in the live. We were only planning to do like an hour live stream. If you guys have questions, by all means, you can ask away. We'll get to some of the questions, and then we're gonna ask you some questions and kind of get to the next half of the live stream.
Shut up. If you had a time machine, would you rather go to the beginning of HHN and experience it, or the future and experience the future?
The past.
Yeah. I want to go back to like when they had it at Islands and it was just like unhinged.
Yeah, I want to see this. They had a parade before. I want to see this parade.
Yeah.
I did a video.
They had the Terror Queen come out on a motorcycle.
Yeah, that was at Islands, yeah.
They just did crazy stuff back in the day.
It was so cool. And
we were talking about this with like parades and stuff. They used to do crazy stuff at the parks, like with performers and their shows and parades and everything back in the day. But now like legal stuff.
It's slowed down. But I would love to kind of see the beginning of Horror Nights and to see the first original fans of Horror Nights and see the vibe and what it was like, and when they had 1 house, 2 house, 3 houses, they had like a scare zone and stuff, and they had like 4 or 5 shows. And we did a video recently talking about the speculation of a Lagoon show happening for this year. If you guys want to check it out, because in that video, we actually talk about some of the previous Lagoon shows that they've had in years past. And seeing some of those, like I didn't even know there was one from '97. I think that's the first year was '97 with the Crypt Keeper. Don't quote me on that. But seeing like some of the stuff that they did, I was like, that's like kind of cool. Like it'd be really cool to see the past. We're getting to the future, which is why I'm not in a rush to kind of see what it'd be like in the future.
Unless we could go to like 200 years into the future.
Well, here's the thing. If I knew how long HHN would last, maybe it'd be cool to see how it looks in the future. but I don't know what the future holds, and I'm nervous for it. So
I feel like it'd be that thing. Like, have you ever seen those TikToks where it's like, this thing that's happening in like current society would cause a Victorian child to go into a coma? Like if they saw it. Have you seen that?
Sure.
That would be like that. If we went 200 years into the future, we'd see what life is like and just go into a coma because we'd be like...
What if everyone was like hooked up to the machine that they stay at home and experience it? It's all virtual.
Like Wall-E?
That'd be sad. That'd just make me sad, personally.
Yeah, no thanks.
I want the past. I want to go back to when it was just like raw and new and they were experimenting with all these different things. I would love to see the origination of Horror Nights. That's a good question. I like that. Also, we have another member to welcome aboard, a shipwrecked in New Zealand. Welcome to Fright Club Beginner.
A kiwi.
Hey.
If you're actually in New Zealand.
No, like the actual bird. You're just the bird. Anyways.
I always thought it meant the fruit.
Well,
not
kiwi.
Like up until right now, but like when I was...
Anyways, I did want to mention this too. Joining the Fright Club Beginner. First of all, welcome aboard. Thanks so much for being a part of the Fright Club. The tiers, Fright Club Beginner, and then you have Veteran and Legends. That will also grant you lives in the game that we have for Fright Island. Fright Club Beginners, you guys will get 1 life. So if you're chosen as an elimination, that is it. You're out. If you're a Veteran, you get 2 lives. So you might be saved. And then the Legends, you get 3 lives. So you got a better chance, which just means when we do the Wheel of Death, when we spin the Wheel of Death, and whoever it lands on, that person will be eliminated. But if you have multiple lives on there on that wheel, you won't be eliminated. You still have a way to escape, potentially. Or you might even have a chance to sacrifice somebody else in your place using one of your lives for somebody else.
Why wouldn't you?
Evil.
You're not actually killing them.
Don't ruin the surprise.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No one's actually dying. YouTube, please don't ban us.
Another question. That's a good question. Do you think having an area of the park to serve as a dance club could alleviate some of the overcrowding? I think the Peacock Bar kind of serves as that.
Can I ask this? What do you mean by dance club? 1 and 2. I feel like, does anybody go to the theme park and like, you know, sometimes they have like a little like DJ booth set up. I never see anybody really like hanging out there
except
anymore.
for toddlers.
Yeah, it used to be like bigger back in the early 2000s and 90s, but I feel like people don't necessarily do that much now. I'm not against it.
Unless
if they're gonna do it, go all the way with it.
Unless you're at Epcot at like 9 p.m., then everybody's at the DJ booth because they're all like drunk. Which I guess would work at HHN because there's a lot of drunk people there too.
There's a DJ booth at Epcot?
No, I'm just saying like they're not a DJ booth, but the Canada Pavilion. We've seen people playing music up there, and there's a bunch of people dancing.
That's what Canada does to you. Gets you going.
An area for a DJ and people to dance. I don't know. I feel like HHN is such a specific event that has like a specific purpose that I don't see a lot of people wanting to do that when they've paid so much money to go do the haunted houses.
Like I said, it would be... Go ahead.
But if there's space and budget for it, why not? And then if it alleviates some of the crowd, great.
Like I said, I'm not against it, but they would have to go all out with it, and I think it would have to be indoors and like one of the sound stages that's not being used, or the Blue Man Group. That idea. Because like outside in the heat in Florida, like I'm not trying to dance.
I mean, you don't have to.
I won't because I can't. We can dance if you want to. We can leave your friends behind. Because if your friends don't dance and blah, blah, whatever. I messed that.
Yeah, you do have the Dead Coconut Club, which isn't inside the park.
We've never done the Dead Coconut Club yet. We still have yet to do it. We don't drink, so
we would just go in, look around, and then leave.
Yeah. Cool.
Pay like $8 for a mocktail.
Yeah. I mean, we personally have a plan for a party ourselves that we would love to throw. I think that'd be really neat. But we can't give ideas out.
Yay, Mark figured it out.
No. Mark figured it out. We did this purposely so that Mark wouldn't. He figured it out.
No.
Mark, welcome to the Fright Club beginners, by the way, and get ready to be a contestant on Fright Island. Good luck. Good luck.
Nice.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's ask them some questions now. Let's get you guys in the chats answering some stuff. Everybody also, holy moly, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. Anyways.
What is that?
It's an old movie. So, anyways, I want to know, out of the 6 houses that we have currently announced right now, original-wise, which one is y'all's? Hondo's telling us
I don't know if you guys could hear that, but Hondo just like...
He went,
yeah. He's like, I thought you were done.
Right. Out of the 6 original houses that were announced, which one is the one that you are looking forward to the most? What is your most anticipated original house that was announced by Halloween Horror Nights? I would love to know. I think Steph might want to know. She probably doesn't care, but I don't know. Let's ask her.
Should we do a poll or?
She doesn't care. No, don't do a poll. Let them just type it in.
Okay.
Can you even do a poll up to 6?
Oh no, I think it's only 4.
4 at max.
Yeah.
So let's read them out though. So we got
Wait, were you asking me a question?
I did, but it's okay. You answered perfectly.
Oh.
So we got museum and goblins.
Yes.
That's 2, but that's okay. I'll let it slide, Benny Bob. Those are
Museum.
2, yeah. So museum goblins. We have museum, yeah. Slaughter Cinema 2. Slaughter Cinema, yeah. Monstrous.
Museum.
SS2. I also love how people are using abbreviations.
Abbreviate everything.
Because Slaughter Cinema 2, people are saying SS2, but I always read it like it's a ship, like the SS2. And I'm like...
You would read it like that. I didn't even think of that.
It throws me off every time. I'm like, SS2. Anyways, yeah, so Slaughter Cinema Sauce. We got Major Suites. There's a Major Suites. All 6 of the houses.
I agree. They all do sound fantastic.
Fred said, whichever one has the most gore.
Gore. I agree.
I want gore.
See, and that's why Triplets is up high for me, because I feel like it's going to be gory.
And Katie K said Triplets.
Museum.
So we've seen Slaughter Cinema. We've seen Goblins. We've seen Suites. We've seen Triplets. What else are we missing?
Hondo House.
Monstrous. I got a Monstrous Cinema. So I think all 6 of them.
Yeah.
So we have a good split.
Yeah. I think the ones that are coming out on top are Museum and Slaughter Cinema.
Yeah.
Seems like.
I can see that.
I think Triplets is kind of at the bottom. I think it's going to surprise you guys. I think that graphics really throwing a lot of people off.
Threw me off.
They threw me off too.
I was like,
is that a paper plate?
what is
that?
Who is that? What is that thing? Yeah, that's pretty much.
I like the bob, like wig.
Yeah.
Little bob.
Yeah. I don't know why that just reminded me of Bob's Burgers. You said that.
Yeah. Well.
That first scene that you showed me the other day.
They better sell food on that triplet man's paper plate mask or I will riot.
I would love that. See, that's like where the marketing team needs to discuss these things and figure things out, because that would be great. Yeah, the paper plate needs to make an appearance. Or you know what I would love? That they sell the paper plates and we can all wear them at the event. Like we can all just wear the paper plates as we go through the house. I'd love that.
Is the tribute store open during HHN? Yes, but not the one that's open right now.
Well, we don't know yet.
We don't know yet.
Because the other one was.
Jurassic Park?
Yeah, I don't think it was open during the event.
Not during the event, but during the daytime,
day,
those days.
Yeah.
But they will most likely have a separate trivia store themed specifically to HHN.
I kind of like this statement. Michael said, anyway, Jack will be back this year. I'm over here thinking of like somehow Palpatine returned.
and
somehow Jack is going to be here this year. I kind of like that. It's funny.
They fly now? They fly now.
They've always flown, but okay. Anyways, what should be one more question that we give to the chat? It's a good one. Like a good one. Where the chat's going to be like, oh no.
Who's the best boy in the entire world?
No, don't bring him over yet. That means it's the end. It's the end of the live stream, and he knows it. That's why he's getting all wiggly waggly. So just to give you guys, you heard him.
Yeah.
It's me. So just to give you guys a quick recap as we pass the 2-hour mark. We discussed this past week the announcement week dump that we got of originals, each having their own day, which was really cool. Could have had a little more, though, I think, with the announcements. But we talked about all of them, going from Slaughter Sinema 2 all the way to the final one being whatever it was, Triplets of Terror on that Friday. So from Friday to Friday, we got all that stuff. So 6 originals, finally original. And then I shut down.
We also have to say under Vecna because Mark joined the Fright Club.
Yeah, we can say under Vecna. Yeah, we'll give that a shout out. And then we'll also add in there Nasty Nest. That's a new Nasty Nest under Vecna Nasty Nest. But yeah, so we talked about the 6 originals that are announced and it's coming to Horror Nights. We talked about the way things were announced, how we think things could be improved and all that kind of stuff. And just overall that we're excited, we're happy. We think this year is going to be good. We really do. We just need to see a little bit more, and I think it'll shape up. We still have 2 months.
Yeah, we still have
plenty of
scare
stuff.
zones. We still have shows. We still have the IP houses.
The thing is, too, I feel like it really kicks in when the first stanchion goes up in the park, and we're like, "That's a Horror Nights light stanchion." Like,
everybody gathers around it,
and we put the paper plates on us, and we all hold each other's hands and go, no.
Oh god,
we need to do that. But yeah, and then of course, if you guys know the Fright Club merch, we have the official Fright Club merchandise up. If you guys want to get some of our merch, I'm like Steph's wearing one of our Fright Club exclusive hoodies, and I'm wearing one of the Pumpkin Lord oversized shirts. Fear opens the door. We have it all up on the Fright Club shop, as well as something I'm really excited to say, but I don't want to spoil it. We actually have 2 new designs that's going to be coming to the shop pretty soon. I don't want to spoil it. One of them is the major
as
sweets
it continues
one.
to spoil it.
Well, technically we already kind of spoiled it, but the major sweets one will be coming to the shop as a poster as well as apparel. And then there is one other one that is so sick, and it's my favorite one that Stephanie's ever created, and I can't wait to show you guys, but I'm not going to tell you about it just yet. I might actually just order it, have it here, and then one day just wear it and be like, it's so sick. I'm not gonna lie, it's my favorite. Like the brother shirt one is like my favorite design, but this one's like,
all right.
I'm so excited.
They're like, we don't care because we don't know what it looks like.
I don't care what you care about. I care about what Hondo cares about. And Hondo, why don't you come over here and tell us what you care about, Hondo? Why don't you come over here? Let's ask Hondo the question. Ladies and gentlemen, Hondo, what is your most anticipated original house for this year?
Tweets.
Tweets Revenge?
Did you hear him?
Oh. What? What were you saying? Can you say it to the mic? Right here? Did we catch that correct? Yeah, nice. Oh, and a wiggle waggle. Perfect. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, check out. We have everything in the shop up and ready for you guys if you want to check out. And like we said, for Fright Club members, the last cutoff date to join for Fright Island will be May 31st, right before midnight, leading into June. We will go ahead and gather all of those names of everyone that's part of the Fright Club, list them all down, and then you guys have a potential to be the winner and the first ever winner of Fright Island, the last remaining survivor for this show, which will win an ultimate Brian from Orlando Fright Club merchandise retail gift package, whatever you want to call it. Just be a lot of cool stuff that we made in the store that you guys will be able to check out. So with that being said, I think we're gonna, as he sprints to get a toy, I think he's gonna bring a toy over. Hold up, see what nasty thing he just finds. You wanna, hey, do you wanna show everybody? You wanna get your toy? Go get your toy.
Get your toy.
Show whatever this thing is that he pulled from the bottom of his toy bin. Come here.
This used to be a Nimbus. What is it? 3000?
Yeah. This used to be a broom. What are you doing? Oh. Uh-oh. What did you do? Oh, no.
Anyway.
With
that.
I think we're going to wrap it up. Should we finish with one more rapid fire Q&A?
No.
We always do one at the end. I don't know. What do you guys think?
We did one at the end. Kind of.
Kind of. The last minute. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we do a rapid fire Q&A, or is this it? Are we calling it? What if I did this?
Everybody's already saying goodnight.
What if I did this?
We called Hondo in.
What if I did this? What if I say, I don't care about your good nights? All right. Well, anyways, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Oh, wait a minute. We have Q&A. Oh, and we have. Hold up. Do you want to surprise him?
Surprise.
The surprise second half of the live stream for another 2 hours, going into the middle of the night.
Hondo is like, no.
Also, just to give you guys an update, 6 minutes and 40 seconds left in the third period. New York and Florida, they're tied 2-2. So with that being said, I'm going to actually call it.
Yeah, we got to go.
And call it. There will be no, by the way, anybody's asking, there will be no live stream after party tonight. But maybe if we do one next week, I might potentially set that up. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, love you all. And Mr. Austin Nielsen, welcome to the Fright Club. I almost forgot to tell him.
Goodbye.
We're like, all right, goodbye. Austin, welcome to the Fright Club.
Thank you.
Thank you for signing yourself up in your life for Fright Island. Good luck.
Anybody who joined, if you aren't in the Discord, make sure you join the Discord because we have a separate chat for y'all.
Yeah, we'll be able to talk in the Discord and even answer more. That's a good place for us to be able to answer questions and things like that right away versus here on the channel, obviously. Yeah. So, but hey, everybody that joined us tonight, we appreciate it. Thanks for all the support and stuff. We have some exciting things coming.
You can't see it.
But he's
itching himself.
Go over there. Hold up. You're moving the cord. But yeah, we're having a great time. Horror Nights is underway with official announcements and things like that. And we have a lot more coming soon and potentially even our first IP coming up right around the corner. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. We look forward to see you guys in the next video or live stream. And like always, we'll catch you guys in the fog. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.